Should we proceed?
Please go ahead. You are a time manager. Please go ahead. Except if our facilitator wants to use the powers conferred on her to give us 5 minutes.
Perhaps we can start at 8:05, but
Okay.
it's actually oral. Actually, I think that there's 17 people in the room, so we shouldn't keep them waiting since they came early. So
Please go ahead.
yes. Okay.
Can I plead for something, Ma?
Okay.
This training is very important.
All
So I
right.
just want to indulge that you can give us 5 more minutes. Let's do another round of publicity by engaging them to come. It's very important, the training. And those who play the roles are not here. Please.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay.
Hello, leaders. Can you hear me? Sorry,
We can hear you.
my village people came.
Okay.
They use power to, but then they cannot get me.
Can't get it.
Good evening once again, Toastmasters and leaders.
Good evening.
You're highly welcome to this training. We are delighted to have you. Please kindly introduce yourself in the chat box by sharing your name, your club, your division, and your country. This session is designed to equip contest officials with knowledge and confidence to deliver fair, professional, and successful speech contest. So thank you for being here. As the contest chair has given me permission, we will segue into the event of today. Good evening once again. On behalf of the District 130 Program Quality Team and District Contest Committee, I warmly welcome you to this important contest officers training. We have a few ground rules. One, ensure your devices are muted when you're not speaking to avoid interferences. As we all know, we do not talk about religion, sex, or politics. That being said, I will take the Toastmasters promise, and you all will affirm it by encouraging me with your emojis. 1, 2, go. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. I promise. Leaders, kindly encourage me with your favorite emoji. Thank you. So I will love to introduce our timer for this training. Timer, are you on the call? Her name is Toastmaster Idonese Christian.
Yes, I'm on the call.
Okay, kindly introduce your role. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Good
seem to be
evening.
muted.
Can you hear me
Okay, I
now?
can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening, distinguished Toastmasters and leaders.
Good evening. Good evening.
My name is Toastmaster Idonese Christian. I'm super excited to be serving as a timer in this meeting. This meeting is allotted 60 minutes. For the facilitator, she will be using 40 minutes. At 30 minutes, I will change my background to green color. At 35 minutes, I'll change my background to amber color. And then at 40 minutes, I will change my background to red color. For the questions and answer session, we have 10 minutes. The questions will be given 1 minute so that everyone will be able to attend, or most of the people in this meeting. For the facilitator, sorry. For the quality director, he'll be using 3 minutes, and the contest chair 3 minutes. At 8:55, we will adjourn this meeting to our next District 130 meeting. Over to you, the facilitator. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly, Toastmaster ID, for taking on this role. I contacted you and you obliged to play this role. Well done. You have sufficiently told us your role. Well done.
Thank you.
So, distinguished Toastmasters and leaders, our theme for this meeting is empowering contest excellence through effective leadership and service. So, whether you are serving as a contest chair, chief judge, judge, timer, ballot counter, sergeant at arms, or any other contest role, today's training will strengthen your understanding of the Toastmasters contest process. Thank you for investing your time in learning and serving with excellence. It is now my pleasure to bring to the virtual lectern our facilitator. Our facilitator in the District 130 role of contest officers training is a respected Toastmaster, accomplished leader, an experienced contest official who has successfully served Toastmasters International in numerous leadership capacities. She is a public health professional. She joined Toastmasters in 2013. In 2018, she emerged as a semi-finalist at the International Speech Contest in Chicago. She also served as the 2020-2021 Director of Division E, District 94. She continues to serve on several committees within District 130. with your virtual emojis. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Ome Bongos to the virtual lectern.
All right.
DTM, the
Thank you
virtual
so
lectern is
much.
yours.
Thank you so very much, Madam Moderator, Toastmaster Iniobong. And thank you so very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you to our contest chair for inviting me. So I'm just going to go right ahead and share my screen. I heard that the timer is going to be quite strict. She said we have only 45 minutes. And so I'm going to go right ahead and share my screen. Just let me know that, just confirm if you can see my screen. Sorry, 1 second. All right. While I'm trying to share my screen, does anybody have a joke to share? No, I'm just kidding.
They're
Okay.
looking beautiful.
That's not a joke. It's a serious.
That's
All
a
right.
statement of fact.
The statement of facts, right? All right.
Looking very
Thank you so
delightful.
much. All right. Fantastic. So tonight we're going to be learning about speech contest officer roles. And when I first saw this training module title, I was very excited because, having been a Toastmaster for a while, one of the most exciting parts of being a Toastmaster is being a part of speech contests. But the only way to truly enjoy a speech contest and to get good outcomes from a speech contest is when a speech contest is well planned and well delivered. And so tonight I'm going to be talking to contest chairs, chief judges, and judges, and how they play their part, what part they play in delivering first-rate speech contests. And so as you can see here, this is a bunch of Toastmasters whose permission I do not have to share their photos, but sharing anyway. Apologies in advance. But these are beneficiaries of equality speech contest from Division G. Now, I would like this to be an interactive training session. And so please feel free to type in the chat box if you have responses to any questions that I ask or any comments that you may have as we go along. So why do we hold speech contests? Why does Toastmasters International hold speech contests? Please type in the chat box. Why do we have speech contests? Is it just, a break in transmission or a way to frustrate members, a way to push new members to do better? Why do we hold speech contests? All right. Somebody said, okay, Toastmaster Mubarak says to encourage healthy competition. And Ajagaban says to flex muscles. Our speech contest chair said to flex muscle in a nutshell. Improve our communication skills. All right. Thank you so very much. And, everyone is right in a way. We've just rephrased it. To gain speaking experience, that is to flex muscles, right? Your muscles cannot grow if you do not work them. So we have speech contests to gain experience. Many Toastmasters can testify that their speaking capacity was exponentially improved when they contested. I always say that when you speak during your regular club meetings, you progress like this, linearly, left to right, left to right. But when you contest in a speech contest, your growth is exponential. You go up. I don't know if you can see my hand, it's disappearing into my blurred background, but yes, you grow exponentially. Now, Toastmasters also understands that members need to be entertained, so to speak. So speech contests also provide interesting programs for club members and the public. So this is a note towards that. Speech contests is a time to publicize your club. It's an opportunity to grow your club. So when you have a quality speech contest, your members remember it, your guests remember it. You can invite members of the public to come and participate. It's like when you have a play or a concert, use that same mindset to invite members of the public and also to observe proficient speakers. Now, this is particularly important to me because we live in a season, or what I'll say, of more and more Toastmasters are becoming distinguished. They're earning distinguished Toastmaster status, and there is a presumption, a very false presumption that, oh, you're not a DTM, you have achieved everything. You don't need to contest. And I have the exact opposite view, and Toastmasters holds an opposite view, because speech contests are a time to observe proficient speakers, experienced speakers. A person who has only been a Toastmaster for maybe 3 months might do well at a speech contest, might even go ahead to win speech contests. But a person who has been a Toastmaster for many years has a wealth of experience to share. So even if you have 2 or 3 DTMs, by all means, step up and contest. All right. So what makes a quality contest? Another point of interaction. So please put your responses in the chat. What makes a quality speech contest? I'm going to give us 30 seconds. Now, the timer is wearing a green blouse. It's very encouraging to see that. So I know that I'm good. I can see her blouse is green. So I'm still good. What makes a good contest? Somebody said good judges. Another person said the rules are respected. Excellent responses, absolutely. The level of preparation. Yes, and level of preparation, not just the contestants now, but everybody else that I'm going to be talking to during this meeting. Proficient contestants, well prepared speeches. But I really like this response from Toastmaster Zainab Usman that says the level of preparation. Because who has to prepare for a speech contest, right? Is it just the speakers? No. So what makes a good speech contest? Well-trained contest chairs and judges, which is what we're starting to do here, right? Also planning. So planning, preparation. It's not really the VP education alone or the area director alone or the PQD alone who prepares for the speech contest. It is the contest chairs and judges have a big role to play. And then of course the speeches should be interesting, right? The speeches should be high quality. You should be able to tell that these people have put effort into their speeches. Virtue has left them as they're contesting. The contest should also be held in a suitable location, and then the Toastmasters materials should be visible and branded. This is a Toastmasters contest. People should know that they're in a room where a Toastmasters event is happening. And this helps to build our brand, helps to build credibility and attract people to us, and also hold our it also helps to really sustain our organization. One thing I always say, the reason that Toastmasters has lasted this long, 102 years now, I think, is that we have upheld standards over decades, over a century. And when we uphold these standards, like we're doing now, we are strengthening the Toastmasters brand. And so I'm just going to be talking to one after the other of the different functionaries, beginning with the chief judge. So what is the role of the chief judge? And not this chief judge, this chief judge. What is the role of the chief judge? So, okay, so before we go into the role, please go ahead and type into the chat box. What is the role of the chief judge? What do you think the role of the chief judge is when we prepare speech contests? I know some of us have played these roles before, but it's possible that we might have played the roles without really knowing fully the extent of our roles. What is the role of the chief judge? And the chief judge role can be a bit tricky, I think. I've seen the chief judge role being held in, very different ways, things that really the chief judge should not be doing. Coordinate judges and make sure they are aware of judging criteria. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Wahab. Excellent response. Coordinate judges. The chief judge really is in charge of judges. They provide the oversight for judges, exactly, and ensure that contestants get fair judgment. Excellent. So the chief judge appoints the voting judges. So we know that they are voting judges. The chief judge himself does not vote, but he appoints the voting judges, the counters, timers, and the tie-breaking judge. Now, I want us to look at this first point very carefully. We sometimes think that it's the role of the VP education or the PQD to appoint voting judges. It is actually the role of the chief judge. So when you've been appointed chief judge, you then go on to search for judges. And and this is why a chief judge should be experienced. You should know, for instance, who and who perhaps has the understanding of what it takes to be a judge. Has this person attended a judges training? I would even say, going forward, for instance, if you're a chief judge on this call, make sure that the person that you're appointing as a judge has attended some sort of judges training. You also appoint the counters and timers and the tie-breaking judge. Then the chief judge briefs the judges. And you know, we have a Toastmasters contest rule book. And very, very often it's tempting to think that it's only the VPE or the area director or the PQD who needs to know the content of the Toastmasters rulebook. But Toastmasters rulebook is clear, it is very easy to understand, and there is a section that very, very clearly outlines the role of the chief judge. And I would advise us, to reinforce the knowledge that we're getting tonight, to go back and review the judge's rulebook. So chief judges also brief the timers and the ballot counter. You're basically in charge of all the role players as the chief judge. You're like I don't want to say the VPE of the contest, but you are getting role players and making sure that the role players are really, maybe I would say closer to like the GE of a contest, really, because you have a team of role players and you want to make sure that these role players are well equipped to do the work. All right. So before the contest, during the contest, so what I just shared was before the contest, right? So I'm going backwards. So during the contest now, during the contest, you collect the timer record sheet from the timer. So there's a number of materials that we have for speech contest. We have the tie-breaking judges guide and ballot. We have the tie-breaking judges guide and ballot. We have the timer record sheet. We have the ballot counter forms. And so you collect the time record sheet from the timers. You collect so now we know that the ballot counter collects the ballots from the judges directly. But when we have a tie-breaking judge, the ballot counter doesn't go to the tie-breaking judge and say, "Oh, we have a tie, please give me your." The chief judge himself or herself goes directly to the tie-breaking judge to collect the ballots and then resolve any protests that may arise. This may or may not have happened in your lifetime in Toastmasters, but I've seen contests where protests have come up. Somebody said, I've seen half of this speech, somewhere on the internet, or somebody, 25% of this speech doesn't belong to the person. So between the chief judge and the contest chair really are the only ones who can resolve any protest. So resolve protests may arise, and you oversee the ballot counting process. Really, if you have any questions around protests, take them directly to the chief judge or the contest chair. And only contestants may do that, not members of the audience. Okay, don't say, my mentor or my mentee did not, this speech that she did or he did, or this person, I've heard this speech before. It's only contestants who can take, protests to the chief judge. And then after the contest, notify the contest chair of winners. There's also a notification of contest winner form. There are plenty of forms that we have for speech contests, but it helps ahead of time to perhaps have a folder on your laptop, where you have all of these forms saved up so that before the contest, you can work with the contest chair to make sure that they are printed out. And I know that I mentioned the contest chair because the contest chair is also responsible for making sure that all the contest materials are available. But I'll get to that when we get to the contest chair. And then also maintain confidentiality. You are the first person who knows the result of the speech contest. Don't send a text to somebody and say, man, the person that won, is like the person that thought was going to win. Just maintain confidentiality. And also do not discuss the details of any protest or disqualification. And I know that sometimes during speech contests, the contest chair might call the chief judge, say, "Oh, were there any disqualifications?" But really, it should be the contest chair who announces that, I'm happy to announce, for instance, that there were no disqualifications, but I think some clubs or even some areas have the practice of inviting the chief judge to announce whether or not there were disqualifications. So the real practice is that the chief judge informs the contest chair of any disqualifications, and the contest chair announces whether or not there were any disqualifications. And then, since who was disqualified, you're advised to not go ahead and say, it was this person, Toastmaster Zainab was disqualified, or she just went 1 second, just 1 second above the time, but she was disqualified. Keep that information confidential, all right? And don't discuss that outside. All right. So that's about being the chief judge. I know I don't have much time. Really, this should be like maybe 45 minutes alone for chief judge, but I will be bounced if I try that. So let's go over to discussing when you are a judge. Now, if you have any questions, please note them and we will come back at the end. And now, when you are a judge, this is what we're going to be discussing next. So have you ever left a speech contest? And you can just respond with an emoji. Have you ever left a speech contest feeling that the judges selected the wrong contestant as winner? You know, you in your mind, you're already judging the speakers and like, oh, I know who's going to come first, second, third. You know, we've done that. And then like, oh, the person I thought was going to come first, they didn't even call his name, he didn't even place, she didn't even factor. So, but you know, I would like to draw attention to the difference between evaluating and judging. Now, we're used to speech evaluations, and judging is a little different. So, evaluators, they appraise a speech. Basically, they measure a speech against the objectives and advise the speaker on how to improve. We're all familiar with this. But then a judge selects the speaker that has given the best speech of the day. Now, the issue with this is that even though we have a judge's guide and parlor, which I'll share, judging in itself is quite a subjective, it's a subjective process. What you consider to be an indisputably excellent speech, another person might be, oh, well, this is run of the mill for me. This is just another day, in Grand City Toastmasters Club because we're all champions in our club, for instance. But it is a subjective process. But for this session of the training, I want to just share some things that can help us diminish our subjectivity. And Toastmasters has also given us these tools as well, right? So a good judge must be fair, accurate, trustworthy, knowledgeable, and a good listener. And by accurate, because as judges, we have an obligation, right? People have put in their time and the effort. We have an obligation to the contestants. Contestants are entitled, they deserve a good judge, especially if they have worked hard. So the judges too must work hard to make sure they understand the rules, that they're accurate, and also to the audience. I was at an international speech contest outside of Nigeria a few years ago, and now this again might be up for debate, but it was an excellent speech contest because it was an international speech contest. But when the second position was announced, the entire hall went, oh, you could hear gasp audibly. And I'm not going to tell you what year this was. This was actually an international speech contest. Because we all expected that the person who came second would come first. Again, we don't know what happened, but you can see that the audience had already made the conclusion. But there are certain criteria that perhaps the second person did not meet that the first person met. But a judge has to be knowledgeable and has to be trustworthy. And by trustworthy, it means that you have the responsibility to select the best speaker. And more than anything else, you have to be a good listener. Have you ever found yourself when you're judging a speech contest and your mind is drifting? That happened to me once, and I was so terrified. I was like, oh my goodness, what if I have put this person's performance at risk? What if I have compromised this person's performance? So we have to pay attention. If you need to bring yourself back to every few seconds, just keep checking back. And it also helps to write this title of the speech at the top of the ledger, some of the ballot, just so you keep reminding yourself, oh, this speaker said, my speech is about, overcoming procrastination or something. You keep going back to that. Is the speech speaking to what they have promised? So just be a good listener. Put away your phone. Don't scroll. If you start that, you go down a rabbit hole and you will be very unfair to the speaker. So know the rules. You must know the rules. Look at the rule book and avoid misconceptions. So I want to talk about the barriers to objectivity. So I said that judging a speech contest is a very subjective process, but there's some things that we can do to make ourselves more objective. Sometimes we think, oh, well, that's just the way I am, but we can actually train our brains to become more objective. And so some of the barriers to objectivity, for instance, are like the speaker position. So for instance, some judges tend to rate the person that comes first in the position, in the speaking order. They might tend to give them a higher score, and then maybe if there are 10 speakers, they get tired and it's like, well, I don't think anybody's going to be better than these 8 people who have already come. So you just sort of lose your momentum. But it's important to keep up the momentum from beginning to end. And for some judges, they score the people that speak later. They give them a higher score because of the effect of recency. Most speakers will tell you, I don't want to be first though. I want to be maybe in the middle or somewhere, because they've seen that some judges are subjective. And then also champion for the underdog. What this means is that somebody who is an underdog, maybe they are a new Toastmaster, or they've never won a speech contest, somebody who doesn't just look like a champion, but they have broken the barriers, they have worked hard. And being a judge, you might then say, well, this person, they deserve to win, even though their speech might not be a winning speech, but you're just feeling sorry for them and saying, well, they deserve to win. But as a judge, we must use only the criteria that is present on the judge's guide and ballot. There's also something called the halo effect. And the halo effect is when you admire a person. Maybe this person has been a champion before, maybe someone like Toastmaster Benjamin Wayo. We all know Benjamin Wayo. He has won speech contests over and over again. And he comes to contest and you're like, well, it's not Benjamin. Let me just give him 100% all across the board. But you're not listening to his speech. You're not judging him accurately. There's also the reverse halo effect. This is the opposite, where you just disapprove of the person. This person just joined Toastmasters now. They don't really know anything. This person, are they not Gen Z? Are they not this? You're judging the person and not the speech, or this person's not a DTM. I don't really believe in them. And because of what you know about the person, or because of what you have heard about the person, your impression of them drops. And so these are some of the ways that we can be subjective. And then also, second time around, when we have seen the same contestant compete at different contest levels during the same contest cycle, we must be careful to not compare their current performance or delivery to previous presentations. Say, oh, I saw this guy, in Gabon. He performed so well. I'm sure he's going to do well. Or you think, oh, this guy, I saw him in Cotonou, and he really bombed. I don't have any faith in him. And you're judging him before you even hear his speech. And then also just our personal preferences and prejudices. Again, judging is subjective, and your own opinions, it's like, oh, this, she's wearing a hijab. She cannot be a dynamic speaker or something like that. You'd be surprised how people think. So our own personal preferences and prejudices, or well, yeah, she's wearing high heels or something, oh my goodness, she's not going to be able to use body language effectively. It really can actually seep into our brains. So we must train our brains to overcome subjectivity. And I'm just going to go straight to the judge's guide and ballot. We don't have much time, but this is the judge's guide and ballot for the Tall Tale contest, because this year we're doing the Tall Tales for the fall semester. What is it semester? For the fall season of our Toastmasters year. But I would like us to look very closely at this. And these items are available online. You don't have to wait until the day of the speech contest. You can go and study them. And the good thing is that behind every judge's guide and ballot, there is a breakdown that describes, even in more detail, how to administer sound judgment based upon these judging items. So there are 3 areas. There's speech development, there's delivery, there's content, there's delivery and language. And among the contents, you have, speech developments, speech techniques, and so what exactly is contained in the speech? Does the speech have a structure? Is it smooth? Does it build up to a climax? Is it well organized? You don't want to just, again, I'm not training speakers, but you want to be able to watch out for how a speaker constructs their sentences. Are they carrying you along in a way that makes sense? Again, back to the basics, clear beginning, middle, and end. Are they also using good speech techniques? So for the tall tale, are they using exaggeration? Are they using surprises, twists, puns, humor, things that show that they have put efforts into developing a strong speech? And what is their physical appearance like? Are they do they have a good manner of speaking? Do they use body language meaningfully? Are they going off points? Well, off stage, off center, for instance. It's very tempting to go off center, especially when your speech is very dynamic. But make sure that you're thinking about these criteria very carefully. We don't have time to go into all of that, but these are contained in the judge's guide and ballot. And so also with speech effectiveness, when you think about speech effectiveness, is the audience reaction as expected? Audience reaction can actually sway a judge. So if the audience is laughing at the right time, or if it's a humorous contest, I think every speaker's worst nightmare is contesting in a humorous contest and nobody laughs. Like seriously, just that doesn't happen for international speech contests, but humorous contests or even tall tales, you want to be able to make sure to see that the audience is surprised, they're amused. So, is the subject presented clearly? Does the speaker's purpose come forth also very clearly? And did the speaker achieve his purpose? And there's also, thinking about effective transition, and that's why it's also important to choose a judge who is experienced. A judge who is able to recognize effective transitions. That means that they have completed level 2, where we've done, structuring your speech, writing a speech with purpose. Because even a humorous speech and a tall tale has to have a purpose. You cannot just come and say, this, I jumped on a tree, and then I turned into a puppy, and then I became a balloon, then I flew in the air. The speech should have a purpose, a structure, and as a Toastmaster, you should be able to identify that. And then also with regard to speech value, you have talked about this already. Voice flexibility and volume, are they modulating to show emotion, or are they bringing their voice down when they're speaking about something that is deep and poignant? Are they raising their voice at the right time? All of these things play a part, and they're all judged, and they all have judging criteria here. And then appropriateness. So the word choice, is the language easy to understand? Does it fit the speech? Does it fit the audience and the occasion? Does the word choice promote understanding of the message and the speaker as well? Are they using simple English? Are they throwing in technical medical jargon where they shouldn't? All of these combine to make the content, delivery, and the language of the speech present for your judging. So this is a summary of judging. So the judge's guide does not. So again, just a point. Judges are sometimes tempted to time the speakers and say, well, this was a good speech, but I think that this person went off time. The judge's guide does not include a space for time. Timing of speeches is the sole responsibility of the timer. So don't be tempted to say, well, this was a great speech, but since they went off time, there's no use. Let me just leave this person out. It's not your job to time the speeches. Just judge the speech as it is, according to the judge's guide and ballot. Right. And so, again, with judges, don't really think about how whether or not a speech is in terms of originality, we're not able. So unless you can actually see that a speech is something that is not, it's a very familiar story. For instance, this person is just giving me a rewrite of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something. The original thought as well is something that you can actually judge as as a speech contest judge, right? And so I don't have time for case studies now, but we can just go straight to the contest chair. Okay. So, what is the role of the contest chair? Please type in the chat box. The role of the contest chair. Okay. 30 seconds, please, to describe the role of the contest chair to direct proceedings. Thank you, Toastmaster Wahab. Toastmaster Wahab, I enjoy your use of language. Very, very accurate, very precise to direct proceedings. All right, to moderate, to ensure smooth transition of the contest and to give rules. Excellent, excellent. So the contest chair really is absolutely, moderator, something like in the old days of Toastmasters, we used to call the contest chair the contest master. And we don't call the contest chair the contest master again, but they were similar to the Toastmaster of the day. But the contest chair really is the person who absolutely directs the proceedings of the contest. And this begins even before the speech contest. Now, I know that it's again in recent times, Toastmasters, contest chairs, they tell you, oh, you're the contest chair, and then you show up at the contest on the day of the contest and you do your job and then you go. But the work of the contest chair begins before the contest, just as the chief judge has a role to play before the contest, like the VP Education. The contest chair actually determines the agenda for the contest, and I'll talk about what that looks like. You also arrange for the supply. So really, you shouldn't wait for the club president. So if you're a club member and you've been assigned the contest chair, of Oil City Toastmasters Club, you are supposed to bring the certificates and the contest material. Again, don't wait for the area director, don't wait for the club president. That is your role. And you see that when we talk about Toastmasters and leadership, every single person in Toastmasters is a leader. It's like you don't say because, oh, I'm not president, it's not my job. I shouldn't even. You will even see that in the rule book. It says that the contest chair is supposed to pay the bills for the contest. If there's a venue, you have to pay the bills for the contest, or at least raise money. It's not the president's job. It's not even the treasurer's job. Pay the bills. I, I didn't put that here, but I'm going to say it again before we close. So I arranged for the supplies, and then you're supposed to select the chief judge. Select the chief judge, and the chief judge selects all the other role players, and then ensure that the contestants are eligible. It is something that we usually leave for the VPE, but as a contest chair, make sure that the contestants are eligible. For this national speech contest, have you completed level 3 or level 2, for instance? Is your club in good standing? Are you in good standing? Have you paid your dues? Make sure of all of this. This is not something to be left to the PQD or to the VPE. You as a contest chair, you're supposed to flex your leadership muscles and ensure all of these things. And then one of your main jobs is to brief the contestants. And you cannot brief the contestants if you don't have knowledge. So brief the contestants on the contest rules and the timing protocol. Know what the rules are. How many minutes for evaluation contest? How many minutes for table topics? How many minutes for for tall tales? What does a tall tales contest comprise? Make sure that you know all the rules. The tall tales contest, highly exaggerated, humor, surprise twists and turns, something that is improbable. Don't tell them that they should try to inspire the audience, for instance. Let them know that this is Tall Tales and this is what we're doing. Let them also know the timing protocol. Again, verify the eligibility. And then you're also supposed to determine the speaking order of the contestant. So you're going to draw a ballot. And, if you have 5 contestants, for instance, put in a basket number 1 to 3 to 5 and let them pick at random. And any number that they pick is the number that they're going to be. So if I pick number 2, for instance, from the basket, I'll be speaker 2. And your speakers are not allowed to exchange. This is the order that they're going to be called in. And then you're also going to tell the speakers the exact speaking area. So sometimes, we do speech contests without, oh, my time is almost up, without lecterns. So tell them, okay, between here, the beginning of the wall, this wall here and that wall here, that's the speaking area, or this here. Try not to exceed the speaking area. Just make them feel comfortable and make them feel ready to get on stage and begin their speech. All right. And as contest chair, during the contest, open with a brief introduction. There's no need to really go into a lot of detail and say, oh, you know, there's no pressure to entertain the audience. Just tell the audience that we've briefed the speakers, these are the rules, and then ask the chief judge, call the chief judge and say, have the judges been briefed? So again, there's no need to call the chief judge to walk all the way up. In some contests, we don't even know who the chief judge is, and that's ideal. Just ask the chief judge to stand up and say, have the judges been briefed? And the chief judge says, yes, they have been briefed, and they can sit down. This will save you time. So I see more and more that our speech contests run into 3 to 4 hours, and they don't need to. Then introduce each speaker with their name, the speech title, and their name. Toastmaster Idongesit, how I grew a tail. How I grew a tail, Toastmaster Idongesit. She's showing me the red card, I think, almost. Okay. And then when the speech is complete, ask voting judges and tie-breaking judge to complete their ballot. So again, this is something that you announce. You say, I'm now going to ask the judges to complete the ballots, and we're going to ask the judges, and we're going to give the judges 1 minute. So you're doing a lot of speaking, and as Toastmaster Wahab says, you're moderating the proceedings. Now we're going to transition into the tall tale contest. Now I'm going to ask the judges to, or now I'm going to ask the evaluators to leave the room. Now I'll request that the chief judge bring the results up to the lectern. So you are doing all of this speaking, and then you're also going to interview each speaker while the ballot counters are counting. So really, it's better to interview speakers while the ballot counters are counting instead of, between speeches. Let the interviews come after, and then you also address protest, and then you will make the announcements if disqualifications occur. It's not the job of the chief judge; it is your job. The chief judge whispers to your ear, writes you a note. We have 2 disqualifications for time, and then you announce, oh, I regret to inform the audience that we have 2 disqualifications. Nonetheless, we have a champion, and then you announce the winners. Then after the contest, you provide the contestant details to the chief judge. And this is important because the chief judge is going to give the name of the contest winner to the contest chair of the next contest, or the area director of the next contest. And then something I saw about speech contests, that contest chairs are also supposed to send news releases. Again, this is where you flex your leadership muscles. Send pictures, write a press release, send it to newspapers, put an update on LinkedIn or Instagram and say, well, I'm happy to announce, or I'm thrilled to announce that we have a speech contest winner from my club or something, or from Division C or Division F. And then the last thing I did put here was pay bills. Make sure all the bills are paid. The benefits of speech contests extend to everyone involved. We are all leaders, and a speech contest is a time to act as a leader, all right? Because when we have first-rate speech contests, we produce first-rate champions. Thank you. And now I'll hand over to Madam Moderator.
Wow, can we moderator, can we give her another 1 hour?
Our virtual emojis to encourage DTM Omiebongos for that insightful session.
Wow.
I am totally inspired.
Fantastic presentation, our international DTM.
Please, a resounding clap with your virtual emojis. Let's encourage her, please. That was fantastic. I am inspired to take up a role in the next contest.
Please take up the role of the contest chair so that I can pay the bill.
DTM Paul, you're about to pay my bills.
Hey, that is what I got.
Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, I'm sure you've learned something. I have. So if you have questions, kindly raise your virtual emoji, virtual hand, or you type it in the chat box. Our facilitator is here to do justice to the questions. Okay, we have some questions here from Dozie Emmanuel. It says, what are the most common mistakes contest officers make during a speech contest? Should I go ahead and read all? Because I think we have
Okay, I
like
think I
up to
can. I will
7.
just. Okay, I can see them in the chat box. I'll just take a few of them. I'll take a
All
few of
right.
them. I'll just join a few of them together. All right. Thank you so much.
Question.
Okay, Toastmaster Zainab, I'll answer the question in the chat box and I'll come to you. Okay.
I've not written it.
No,
Toastmaster Zainab, the facilitator will come to
What?
you.
Oh,
The
okay.
facilitator will come to you. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so very much for these questions. So some of the common mistakes contest officers make during a speech contest, I mean, it's the effect of poor preparation. Contest officers, so for instance, the judges, well, perhaps when the chief judge is briefing the judges, he's doing it in a way that he's making obvious who the judges are. The judges are supposed to be anonymous, but they should be seated in a place where they can hear the speech being, hear the speech clearly. There's many mistakes that we make. I hope that the training address them. But really, the biggest mistake is poor preparation. And which sections of the contest rulebook should every officer know thoroughly? So I think if you are, so it depends on your role. I would avoid against memorizing the whole rulebook. It's not really efficient. Again, we're adults, we forget. So read the section of your rulebook that applies to you. So for instance, if you are a contest chair, your section is on, your section is on page 26, 25 and 26 of the rule book. Well, for page 24, 26. No page 24, 26 of the rule book for this year, because next year you may be a chief judge or even a speaker. So know the section that applies to you and know it in back to front. When should the chief judge intervene? My goodness, so many questions. What qualities make an outstanding contest chair? I think an outstanding contest chair is one who can keep the contest going while saving time and making sure that you pronounce the speaker's name correctly. Something that happens that a lot of contest chairs don't take the time to pronounce the speaker's name. So when you are briefing the contestant, ask them, how would you like your name to be pronounced? Like Toastmaster Don gets it, for instance. The G in her name is not pronounced. If you don't pronounce it, Don gets it. She will not be happy. But ask her how she would like her name to pronounce, and then practice if you're not sure. If you are in level 1, are you qualified to contest? You're qualified to contest for the Tall Tales evaluation and table topics, but not for the international speech contest. International speech contest, you must have completed level 2. So you're not on level 2, you have completed level 2. Maybe you haven't started level 3, but you have finished level 2. These are all the questions I'll take, I think, from Toastmaster Dozie. Madam Moderator.
Okay, Toastmaster Zainab Osman.
Yeah.
Her hand is up.
All right.
Toastmasters.
Good.
Okay, go.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, DTM Ome and other fellow Toastmasters. That was a very beautiful training we had. Thank you so much. One of the things you said that weren't really clear to me is that it is the responsibility of the contest chair to announce disqualification if there is any. So I want to know, is it just the disqualification that the contest chair announces, or the handover of results that is being done at the stage too is not really necessary? Thank you so much.
All right, that's a good question. So I think that we've been influenced by some of the practices. So the chief judge hands over the results to the contest chair. So there are 2 ways you can do it, right? The contest chair can ask the chief judge, and I guess this is not best practice, but it is also done, and it's okay as well. You can ask the chief judge, have there been any disqualifications? And the chief judge can say, no, we have no disqualifications this evening from the speech at tonight's contest. But the contest chair can also receive that information discreetly from the chief judge. And then after he receives the results from the chief judge, for instance, the chief judge says we have 2 disqualifications, and the chief judge doesn't even have to tell him who the person was. Doesn't have to say the name of the person, just say we have 2 disqualifications, and and the contest chair conveys that information to the audience. I'm sorry to announce that we have 2 disqualifications as a result of exceeding time, something. So ideally, the chief judge should make that, ideally, the contest chair should make that announcement. I don't know if that's clear to Master Zainab.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay.
All right, Madam Facilitator, we also have DTM Paul Abe's hand and iPhone. iPhone, can you rename yourself? Let's address you properly. Over to you, DTM
done.
Paul.
Well done, DTM. You reminded me of a contest that you made me a chief judge, and I did my rehearsal to do so many things expected of me, and it was simplified when you just asked me the question and I answered. And considering the amount of time and lateness of meeting, most times, would you rather recommend that we go that way? Because sometimes I've seen where chief judges use it on the table topic again, and make comments, and they buy more time. I would suggest that this question will solve the because they just don't only talk about disqualification. They talk about the timing each speaker is supposed to work with a whole lot. So which one? I just think we should just have a standard that will be more, forward and time saving for me.
All right.
You should
Yeah, thank
subscribe
you,
to it.
PGD. I absolutely agree. I think the standard should be the contest chair should just ask the chief judge. The chief judge sitting at the back of the room with the ballot counters, and he asks the chief judge, have all the judges been briefed? And the chief judge says yes, because it is the Toastmaster of the contest chair is the one who's actually supposed to tell the audience of the contest rules and do that very briefly. And the contest chair just says, have all the judges been briefed? Because really, judges are role players, and the chief judge says yes, I have briefed all the judges, the timers, and the ballot counters, and they are ready to perform their role. And they sit back down, so there's no need to invite them to the lectern.
Thank you.
All right.
This idea of the contest chair raising money, that is a good one. Can we practice it?
So I was about to ask the question.
That's how it says again. So what it says in the rule book is to see that all bills for the event are promptly paid.
Okay.
Yes. So they're part of the fundraising team, really, and they should lead the charge. Hard and interpret it,
Yes.
iPhone, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. This is Oluwatosin from Phoenix Toastmasters Club. I just wanted to write on the last question that was asked by DTM Paul. What's the practicality of having the contest chair having to raise, part of the team to raise the funding for the contest within our climb? Because I understand the fact that maybe in other climbs, that's a possibility. But we understand that in this season and time that we found ourselves, it might be quite hard. And knowing for a fact that the contest chair too has to juggle quite a number of responsibilities. So I don't know how that's going to work out. So it would be good if you could actually, provide a guide, ma'am, to if that has also happened before. Thank you, Anova.
All right. Thank you so much, Master Tosin. And that's a great question. And you actually nailed it. You said the contest chair has to juggle a number of responsibilities, and it's a good responsibility. It's part of the leadership path that we all go through in Toastmasters. One of the things, I think one of the ways that I really grew as a Toastmaster before I ever contested was planning a speech contest to really stretch me. And again, I'm going to tell you what the rule book says, right? So the contest chair is supposed to determine the budget for the contest, right? So while you don't have to pay all the bills, you determine how much it's going to cost to have this contest. Are we going to have the contest at the Hilton, for instance? How much are halls at the Hilton? Who can help us pay the bills? DTM Hassan can help us, DTM Charles, Chagaban, they can help us raise money. But then know that your job is to make sure that we don't lose money from the contest. And Toastmasters, that's something we don't take advantage of. Toastmasters allows us to charge an entry fee for a contest. So for instance, if you have we charge fees, right? So people that are going to Vancouver, is anybody going to Vancouver here now? Can you raise your hand if you're going to Vancouver? If you're going to Vancouver, you will notice that there is a fee.
They've gone already.
International. Oh, they've gone. But they can still join us.
They are
Yeah.
preparing to go.
They have not gone yet. So there is a separate fee for the international speech contest. And we actually are allowed to charge fees. In fact, the only person who shouldn't pay a fee for the speech contest is the contestant. So you can charge Madam President. You can charge Mr. Didi. You want to come to my club for speech contest? It is 5K or 2005. It's actually okay. It's perfectly fine. The only person you don't charge is the contestant. You can even charge your chief judge if you want. But really, we're actually allowed to do that. But we really, your job as the speech contest chair is to just help to make the budget for the contest and know what it's going to cost to print certificates, to print the awards. You don't have to do all that by yourself, of course, because most clubs have a budget, most areas have a budget, but know what it's going to cost and present the budgets to either the club president or the area director or to the PQD, and then say, oh, well, perhaps I think we should charge a fee for this contest. Even if it's 2,000 naira, you can actually say that, and it's perfectly fine. All right.
Thank you
Rita.
very kindly, our facilitator, for that insightful responses that you have given to us. You have sufficiently enlightened us on the role of contest chair, judges, and all we need to know. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, for further clarity, should you have more questions, please kindly reach out to DTM Ome Bongos, or our contest chair has posted contest rule book. It's in the chat box. Kindly click and read more about contest. We are running behind time, so quickly, I would love to bring to the virtual lectern the program quality director, DTM Stella George, for her remarks.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much.
Good evening,
Good evening.
DTM.
Yes, apologies. I will not be able to put on my video. Thank you so much. Fantastic presentation. Champion, Distinguished Toastmaster Ome, and the contest chair, Distinguished Toastmaster Olu Joseph. They're doing a wonderful job. And everybody for showing up. We have a target. We have a goal. Our goal is to produce the next champion that will represent the districts, that will represent the region at the international conference, convention, and that is why we're doing everything that we're doing. So we're planning to succeed. So thank you, everybody, and have a good evening.
Thank you very kindly, our PQD, for that charge. We will sure have someone to represent the district. Thank you. So we will bring to the lectern our contest chair, the Jagaban of Toastmasters, DTM.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Thank you very much, my leader, the Distinguished Toastmaster Stella George, Program Quality Director, District 130, for giving us the opportunity to hold this training. And I want to say thank you very much to past champion, semi-finalists, World Championship of Public Speaking 2018, my own dear sister and leader, Distinguished Toastmaster Ome Bongos, for this exposition this night. I've learned extra things this evening. The goal of this series of training is to make sure that one of us on this call, one of us in our district gets to Paris 2027. We must be there. This is why we are providing quality training to everybody. Please pass this information down. pass this information down. You're a leader, make sure things are done properly so that we can select the best that will represent us in your division and then at the district so that we can all meet in Paris. I'm already prepared for Paris 2027. So I want to say thank you very much for showing up. Read the contest book. Please read and read and read it. Don't rely on what Olu Joseph said. Just go and read so that you can know. Once again, thank you very much, Madam Moderator, as I hand over the lectern back to you.
Thank you very kindly, Contest Chair, for that encouragement. I am, dear Toastmasters and leaders, we deeply apologize for taking 7 minutes of your time. Sorry about that. So thank you to everyone for joining today's Contest Officers Training. We appreciate our facilitator, our program quality director, our contest chair, and every participant for making this session a huge success. We wish you the very best as you serve in your contest roles across District 130. Have a truly wonderful evening. We look forward to seeing you at our future district event. This webinar is officially adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Can we have,
and enjoy the rest of the evening.
On? Our cameras on, and let's smile so that I can have a snapshot.
Contest chair, I'm happy that you are financing this contest. That is just what I'm taking home. I'm very happy.
Put on your camera. Let me see your face. Let me see your face.
Sorry,
you know, you are the number one fundraiser now. You have the anointing for raising fund. So we'll come for you.
Yes.
DTM Aishiata, all the way from Indonesia. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It's Trinidad.
Trinidad and Tobago. You have to bring us there. I want to come there.
All right, you're welcome. It was a wonderful session. Well done, my leader, DTM.
It's just jackpot like that. Just like that.
If follow husband go now.
Please, when are you sapering? This is jackpot sapper back. Let's see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Logistics manager, please can stop the recording. Thank you very much. All right. See you in your club.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jagaban.
Hey, Madam President.
Good night.
You killed it.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.